Good evening. Welcome to the October 6th City of New Ulm Safety Commission meeting. We'll call this meeting to order. Thank you all for coming tonight. The first part of the meeting is to approve the minutes from our June 2nd, 2022 meeting. Are there any additions or corrections to the minutes? Okay, hearing none. We'll entertain a motion for that.
I so move.
Okay, Connie has made the motion. Is there a second?
No, second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Old business. Mr. Engineer.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, Commission members. So if you remember way back when, back in June, the Commission at that time considered parking restrictions along South Park, especially during events at Shells. It was the Commission's choice to not recommend any changes in that area. It was presented to the City Council, and at that time they elected to just table it to observe patterns and revisit at a future time if necessary. That's the only update I have for you on the old business.
Okay. Thank you. Are there any questions for Mr. Stadheim? Okay. Moving on to new business. 4.1.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Chair, Commission members. Our office received a request for a handicap parking stall in front of the Wellness Collective located at 15 South Minnesota Street. The requester is here, so I will let her come up and speak in just a moment here. The location has a marked handicap stall in front of the Legion as it sits today. The configuration would work as far as putting a stall on the other side of the alley entrance that is there. As far as a access aisle, we have one stall that has that access aisle and being the alley area. This stall would not require that access aisle, so we could simply sign and paint that stall in front of the Wellness Collective.
So that would not impact any other
Any other stalls?
stall that would be,
Yep.
okay, that
Yep.
makes some
But
sense.
I'll invite Bonnie Bareneck Fort Wingler up to speak on behalf of the Wellness Collective.
Thank you. I recently have started and joined the Wellness Collective and have since observed that there is an additional need for handicap parking. The handicap stall parking in front of the Legion. In front of the Legion is often already being used by the patrons of the Legion, and understandably so. We have lots of services within the New Ulm Wellness Collection that cater to people with physical disabilities. We have MRCI clients that come weekly, if not more weekly, more than once a week to the collective. There's many practitioners that provide care to individuals that are utilizing wheelchairs or walkers or just need more closer parking for services. There isn't any other handicap parking any further down that street on as far down to the Baccarat as far as I've witnessed. So I would certainly appreciate your consideration for the additional parking spot just because we've added so many more clients and services to our facility. Thank you.
What's changed?
What's changed?
Why are we requesting this now and not before?
Well, I think that I particularly have a particular interest because I have brought a lot of clients that utilize handicap parking to the Wellness Collection. Most recently, I have asked the collection, and they have accommodated some addition to our front door entry to make it more accessible to the wheelchairs. So we have, in our building ourselves, have added more handicap accessibility to our building, so it's easier to get people in and out of wheelchair, which prompted me then to think about what's going on the outside of our building that we could better accommodate those individuals. And so within that observation came this request And then also observing that we have MRCI coming to our building much more often. I think particularly within the last 2 years, the building has been pretty empty because of COVID. And so I think there was that piece as well. So any other questions?
Okay,
Again,
Thank
thank you.
thank you.
I think it's a good idea.
Okay. Mr. Stadheim, do you have any additions to,
No, I have nothing to add, Mr.
All right.
Chair.
then we would entertain a motion to recommend this to the council?
I so move.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion has been made and seconded to move forward with a handicap parking stall in front of the Wellness Collective at 15 South Minnesota Street. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Mr. Stadheim,
All
the
right.
next item.
Yep, thank you, Mr. Chair, Commission members. The next request is from John Laudret. I hope I'm not butchering his name too badly there. He submitted a request to either have a handicapped or a permit parking stall placed in front of his home at 425 North German Street. He recently moved to town, did not realize the usage that Johnson & Johnson baseball and football complex receives during the summer and fall. There's been times, as described in the attached email that was included with the agenda packet, there's been times where he's needed to walk multiple blocks, and he has some health concerns that prevent that. And so he is requesting, after some discussion, I kind of steered him towards that permit parking stall. As we've done in the past, particularly around Newax, and then the middle school and elementary school campus in St. Paul's. And we have a couple others up by the medical center where we've accommodated these requests due to the busyness of the on-street parking. Again, the exhibit included within the packet and the submitted email, and I would entertain any questions you may have. I did talk to him about which street he would prefer. He does prefer German Street, but if the commission so elects to grant this on Fifth, he would be happy with that as well. So I would open it up for any questions or comments.
Commission, do you have any questions, comments?
I think that the German Street for his problems would be better because it looks like that's the sidewalk entrance for him.
Right.
Yep, I would
Yeah.
agree with you.
And
Yes.
he already
I
has-
also think
yeah.
that with his health problems,
Yeah.
he had said he had to walk 2 blocks one time. If you've got heart and lung problems,
Yeah, he said it-
that's like walking 5 miles.
Yeah, when I talked to him on the phone, he said that was a big struggle for him. And
sticker already.
Yep, and I don't doubt that when football games or a baseball game is, yeah, it's full down there, you know, and it spreads to downtown, so I could see in his situation that being an issue.
So if this is a permit type, he would be the only one to be able to park there? You'd have to have a certain,
Yeah, so the way that our permit system works is he gets the information from the parking enforcement officer with the police department, and it's generally that vehicle. You know, in the event that he needs a different vehicle to park there, I don't know if it's a tag or how that works.
Okay.
But, yeah, that would be signed, and then that permit process, I don't really know how the PD works through that.
but it would limit the parking there to him.
To him and him only, correct.
Yeah, handicap, anybody that has a handicap
Yep.
sticker can park there. so-
Correct.
Trying to make sure whatever we do solves the problem. Okay. There is a motion.
No, not yet.
Hasn't been.
I so move that we move forward with granting a permit-only parking stall for this gentleman on German Street.
Motion is made.
I'll second the motion.
Motion is made and seconded. Is there any further discussion? Or comments? Mr. Stadheim?
No additional comments.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much. And for our third new business item, Mr. Stadheim.
All right, Mr. Chair, I'm happy to present to the commission the 2023 CIP report. It's a watered-down version. It's not the whole report, but I did include a copy of the complete streets policy of the city of New Ulm. And what we'd be looking for today from the commission is just your recommendation that what we're proposing for our 2023 CIP does indeed meet the goals and visions of the complete streets policy. I'll quickly run through the CIP. I will leave some room for questions and comments at the end, as I know we do have a member who has to escape a little bit early, so I want to make sure we get through this. So again, this complete streets policy is attached for your review. The policy has not had any revisions since you've last seen it. The 2023 USA project, which is their utility street and alley improvement project, we are proposing number of projects, and we'll start with North Washington Street, or South Washington Street, excuse me, from 7th South to 10th South Street. And that would also include going out into the intersection of 10th South Street to repair some aging utilities in that corridor. So it'd be replacing 1940s water main, sanitary sewer, reconstructing the roadway, which has got a score of a 4, and that's based out of 0 to 100, 100 being brand new. So this street has long been failed. North Minnesota Street, so that's in front of Caribou. That's from 7th North to 9th North Street. Again, roadway and utility reconstruction, storm sewer extension. Oakwood Avenue from Becker Road out to Milford Street. If you've driven that corridor, you may have noticed that there's a lot of heaving on that north side of the roadway. We have curb going up and down, and gaps between the concrete approaches and the curb that are 4 to 6 inches at some times of the year just because of the heaving that's happening. So we need to get in there and replace that north side along with the roadway driving surface as well. And then we will also make ADA sidewalk improvements at the pedestrian ramps. And then we have 3 alley reconstructs. And then the last item there is the concrete sidewalk and ADA improvements. Those improvements coincide with the surface reconstruction project. So we come in, we do those ADA improvements prior to the street department doing their work during the summer on those surface reconstruction projects as listed. Moving ahead, I'm just going to highlight some major projects that are coming up in 2024 and beyond. Pull the map up just for a reference here. It's also included within your packet. 2024, the big items here are Bridge Street from Cottonwood Street to Tower Road. That roadway is well failed. We need major utility work in that corridor as well. And then 20th South Street, I need to back up. Sorry. 2023, I skipped over North Highland Avenue. That's a mill and overlay from Oak Street to Highway 14 to repair that driving surface. And North Broadway from 20th North Street to CSA 13. That'd be the new alignment of Boundary Street. We are doing a full depth reclamation, and that process involves grinding the bituminous, mixing it with the underlying gravel, grading it, and paving it on top of that. So now 2024 also includes 20th South Street from Broadway to the river bridge. We are actually hosting an open house in 3 weeks for that project. We are looking to revamp that corridor, make it more bike and ped friendly. Currently, it's a 4-lane roadway, possibly giving that a road diet, so it's a single lane in each direction with left-hand turn lanes as a possibility. Some medians, particularly down by Hy-Vee and Minnesota Street, to kind of reduce the number of conflicts in that corridor. So there was a notice in the paper for that open house. We've mailed mailings out to the property owners as well. So if you're able, it'll be 3 weeks from today, or 3 weeks from yesterday, excuse me, right here from 4 to 6 p.m. We have Bolton and Mink working with us on that project as well. And then probably the big one that in 2024 that's going to have most everybody in town excited is the construction of the roundabout at Highway 14 and North Highland Avenue. It's a joint project with the state of Minnesota. Very excited to have that one done. We have also included some trail reconstruction in a plan as well. And a lot of that's contingent on us receiving the DNR trail funding to reconstruct those. We have a number of segments that we're reaching 20 years old and are in need of repair. So we're including it and optimistically thinking that we're going to get those funds. 2025 is what I consider a normal reconstruction year. A bunch of city streets that are in need of work. Kind of the item to note there is we're going to install lights and gates at the Valley Street, or at the 16th South Railroad crossing. Right now, it's just stop sign controlled. 2026, again, what I would consider a normal reconstruct year. We did include additional trail reconstruct, kind of on an every other year basis, hoping again that we get that same funding. And 2027, again, normal reconstructs, some higher ticket items in there. A lot of that's depending on certain types of funding and things of that nature as well. So in short, if you look on that last page of the report, we're looking at almost $38 million of improvements that we have planned. Again, some of those are dependent on receiving certain grants, funds, and things of that nature. But a lot of proposed improvements that we have planned for the next 5 years. But just alone in 2023, almost $8 million worth of work is what we have planned at this time. There is a chance that 10th South Street from Broadway to the State Park would be added in 23. That would be a Brown County project, and that's dependent on them receiving State Park Road funds, as there's a special dedicated grant program for roads that lead to state parks. So the county has applied or will be submitting their application for that, and we're hopeful that we can work together on that project as well. That would be a mill and overlay of the driving surface, plus ADA improvements at all of the intersection locations, similar to what they did on Center Street. So, and then again, the map for reference just kind of shows how we jump around town with those improvements. So, any questions, comments at this time that I can answer for you or try to answer for you, or any thoughts on the proposed plan?
They seem pretty quiet, so either they're digesting or
Or I put you to sleep.
we
one
have
of
no
the two.
questions.
Well, my question is, this is dependent on the funding, right?
Some of it, yep, bits and pieces. Generally, the 2023 projects, I have all that funding lined up minus the Brown County funds, and we won't know that till April of 23, so.
Are medians gonna fix that Minnesota 20th South deal with Hy-Vee?
Yes, remember back when we had the Gateway project and the state put in those barriers, that reduced a lot of the conflicts we had down at that location because we had all that traffic coming into town via 37 and 20th South Street. So that's one of the tasks we have Bolton and Mink working on as our consultant on that project, is coming up with some concepts that we can share with the public, and they can run analysis on those to see what works best for the traffic loadings that we have on that roadway. So in my opinion, it worked well. It's an inconvenience for that Minnesota Street traffic because you have to turn right or you have to drive around to be able to turn left. But it reduced that conflict with the Hy-Vee entrance. It's in its current configuration, it's just not safe with it offset the way it is. And I think Police Chief Worker can speak to that as well. So. And we're looking at maybe extended maybe all the way up to Bridge Street possibly as well to kind of really delineate that. But we'll see what kind of concepts come out of the design process. And there'll be future meetings with Bolton and Mink and the commission to kind of go over the concepts as well. So you'll be involved in that process once we get to that point.
Will those medians allow for semi-turning, because like coming off a bridge, there's
Right.
a lot of traffic?
Yep, so that'll have to be taken into account to make sure that turning movements can be made appropriately.
It does get exciting in there.
Yeah,
Not in a good way.
we've got some aggressive projects coming up.
Good. So if there's no other questions for Mr. Stadheim, basically, we just need to accept this report. If that's
Yeah, and then just
recommend-
recommend to the city council that it meets this complete streets policy.
So someone would like to make a motion?
I make a motion to accept the report.
I'll second that.
Okay, motion is made to accept the report and forward it to the city council. Is that how you like,
Do you want me to restate?
I got it. We're
Okay.
good. We're okay.
okay. So, if there's any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. We have no other business items. Mr. Stadheim, did you have some other items you wanted to?
Yeah, one thing I just wanted to share with the commissions, not on the agenda. We can probably adjourn first, actually.
Okay. Motion to adjourn?
I so moved.
So moved. Second?
I'll second it.
Second to adjourn. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thanks. I
Thank
gotta
you.
run.
Thanks, Connie. Appreciate you.